Now this would be considered as the mid-sagittal sectional model, if you cut down like this, of the male reproductive. Of course, the testes would be this one right here, which is developed into this pouch known as the scrotum, correct? I won't ask you about, there is tunica vaginalis, which is basically is the, and tunica albuginea, which is basically finds in the testes. I'm going to show you the cross sections of the testes a little bit, but in the testes, what you see is considered as a seminiferous tubule. And the seminiferous tubule can be shown by, well, you can't really see it, but here, if you do a cross sections of the seminiferous tubule, it will be like this. This is so this is the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. The seminiferous tubule is part of the testes that is going to help make the sperm. So sperm is usually developed from up here, and we're going to see that that primary germ cell is known as primary spermatogonium. This primary spermatogonium going to different differentiation, ultimately into the sperm. Okay, so maybe today or maybe next week we're going to see this development of the sperm, and the process is known as spermatogenesis. Maybe I'll give you toward the end, right, when you guys ready, I'll tell you the steps involved in spermatogenesis. But it usually starts from here and they go forward. So in the lumen is where you find the sperm. Okay? These are your sustenticular cells that you find. Sustenticular cells that you find in the seminiferous tubule. And what they do is they maintain the blood-testis barrier. They actually attach so that the sperm is never exposed to the body. If the sperm is exposed to the body or to the blood, the male could reject the sperm because the sperm is foreign, if you will. One of the functions of the development of the sperm, spermatogenesis, is to make different sperm. Okay? And the sperm will have different antigen, for example, that will be foreign for the male. So then, to ensure that the sperm never exposes to the blood-testis barrier is maintained by the sustenticular cell, also known as Sertoli cell. And the Sertoli cells also help the development of the sperm. And the development of sperm is known as spermatogenesis. Okay? So it is considered as a nursing cell. So here's the thing. FSH stimulates these cells to produce androgen receptor. Okay, AR is androgen receptor. So sitting outside of the seminiferous tubule, these cells right here is known as the interstitial cell. Interstitial cells, also known as Leydig cell. Now, L8 stimulates these cells to produce the androgen, which is here is testosterone. Okay? Testosterone binds to this, the sustenticular cells that produces the androgen receptor. Then it started to stimulate this. So help the sperm. The sperm from spermatogonium sits on the outside and then migrate inward. Okay? All of that occurred here at the testes. Okay, so I put a red dot here. I'd like you to know that is the testes. So once the sperm is made, it is stored at this sort of like the backward C that you see here. That is the epididymis. Okay, so you're going to look at the testes, the epididymis, and it stores there until, say, the males, the boys, have a wet dream in which the sperm comes out. Or if the male have an orgasm, it get ejaculated. So as part of the ejaculation, the sperm move from here, the epididymis, out into this whole thing right here is known as spermatic cord. Okay? The spermatic cord would have at least three things. One is known as the vas deferens or ductus deferens. Two, you know this testicular artery, or we call it gonadal artery, if you will, if you don't want it to distinguish the sex. So this is considered as testicular artery or testicular vein, as well as lymphatic vessel. All travel in spermatic cord. Okay, so when the spermatic cord comes up, as you can see here, is that this purple color right here, well, I don't know what this purple color, sorry, it's more like orange, right? Comes up, this is the vas deferens. Okay? This is a ductus deferens or vas deferens. And the ductus deferens open up out, known as the ampulla. Everyone see this? So this is considered as the ampulla. Right? So you got your sperm made in the testes, stores in the epididymis, comes out to the ductus deferens, which is this right here, ductus deferens. Right? So this is part of the ductus deferens, but then it's going to join with the accessory gland that secrete more of fluid that has a carbon source like fructose, and that structure here known as the seminal vesicle that you see here. Okay, secretes that into this region. This region is known as the ejaculatory duct, which joined with this. This is one region, one of the three regions of the urethra. The urethra serves both as part of the urinary system, which is allowed urine to leave the urinary bladder, but the urethra also is a tube that allows us the semen to flow out as well, the urethra. This particular part of the urethra that is surrounding by the prostate gland, this is the prostate gland here, so this is known as the prostatic urethra. But look at the prostate gland. The prostate gland is the gland that sits inferior to the urinary bladder, right? And it sits more anterior to this, which is the rectum. So as we get older,